7002 Maynardville Pike.
Thank you. Director
Scott.
Book?
Go ahead. That is correct.
Okay, you represent them, he's there, so
Well, with my,
Go ahead.
with my competent co-counsel, Brother Vang.
commission with regard to that.
Give us your name and address first.
I've never done this before, but I do have a doctor's appointment that
This is a report back on a non-minor sale violation, Mr. Jones has just come on board, so there's been 2 meetings with regard to this. And at the last meeting, the beer board suspended the license pending a hearing coming back and you all reporting back to the board, and that's what we're here on now. So anything that you want to present to the board, just go ahead.
Certainly, thank you very much. Relative to that, I did have an opportunity to discuss the matter with the representative from the Sheriff's Department, Mr. Walker, relative to that, and I was able to confirm, albeit, we wished it was an entirely perfect record. There have been no new citations issued on the premise with regards to the conduct of the bar. I do have the representatives of the bar here, and I do apologize. I was actually asking them a question during the period of time that you were swearing witnesses, but I don't think it would be necessary really to hear from them other than just an affirmation of what your own officer, I believe, will affirm with regards to the fact that there have been no new citations and that the bar is striving to do its best to conform to the requirements of the law in the state of Tennessee, and particularly Knox County with the dispensation of alcohol. As the board will recall, the board suspended effectively on the motion of Commissioner Lee the beer permit for a period of 60 days. They have maintained their ability to sell alcohol with the ABC permit through the state. So I think if we'd had issues, we would have seen them, particularly with regards to things that would be troubling, and that would be obviously something that is the death knell, would have been underage sales, things of that nature. So that being said, at least from a report standpoint, I think we're as good, albeit we're aspiring to be better, sort of like the Sears good, better, and best. Obviously we can always do better, but I think the lack of citation speaks volumes as the fact that this business is making strides.
Board, please.
Yes, sir. I pulled the 911 reports for the 60-day period from the last beer board. There had been 8 calls for service. 3 of those were repeat calls on a stolen car. One had been stolen, another one had been chased, and another one had been recovered that was stolen from a parking lot. There was 3 loud music complaints that officers responded to and told them to turn down the music. And then there were 2 arrests made in the parking lot of patrons that stated that they had been in El Tequila that night, and one of them being a 16-year-old. They were doing burnouts in the parking lot, and I have the report. And also there's body camera footage video of the interview that the officer is doing with the 2 people in the car available if you guys would like to see it. I also, on the request of Commissioner Lee, tracked down the rape incident report in December. The officer did go to the bar to request video surveillance, so the owner was aware of it. Obviously, that the detective went and did ask for the video surveillance from the bar. He was told that because it had taken place prior to their video races, apparently, that there was no available video of the incident. Now, in full disclosure, the victim, a 16-year-old, stated she had been in a bar listening to a concert, was drunk, and was in the parking lot and was raped by her account. Because she waited almost a month to report it and came with her mother, there was no physical evidence to obtain any kind of a charge at that point, and no video of her actually being in the bar was available, is what the detective was told, and the case went no further than that at this point.
Mr. Jones, client.
Could I make just an inquiry of Lieutenant Walker just as far as follow-up based upon some discussions that we had earlier?
Sure.
Lieutenant Walker, particularly relative to the allegation of the alleged sexual assault, relative to that allegation doesn't come up until 30 days afterwards. boards, correct?
Yes,
And all we have is a cursory allegation, no information substantively that actually puts her underage consuming alcohol other than her naked statement made 30 days after the fact with her mother.
that is correct.
Okay. And the same thing goes with regards to the individuals alleged to have been doing burnouts in the parking lot. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And that parking lot actually services other businesses besides El Tequila, correct?
yes, but none of them were open at the
Right, right. But that being said, it's a public parking lot.
Yes.
It's open, if you will, to the public at large and relative to these individuals. That being said, as far as any actual indication, if you were able to establish that they had been served underage, we'd seen citations issued, right?
Yeah, they didn't come in contact with police until after apparently they left.
Right.
So-
And my representation earlier relative to citations with regards to that, that was accurate based upon my information
Oh, absolutely.
and
Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
The bar-
that there
the bar
have been
itself
no
has not been cited,
citation.
yes.
I just didn't want it to be
Yes.
that I appeared disingenuous
No.
with regards to the representations associated with the same. And finally, addressing the first of the complaints that you indicated relative to a stolen vehicle.
Yes,
In fairness, with your number of years and your stature in law enforcement, that's just as likely to have occurred at West Town Mall as it occurred there, right?
yeah, stolen
There's
cars.
no nexus between the bar and a vehicle being stolen.
Just other than the address it was reported.
Right.
So,
And then as to loud music, that's just simply anytime that there's a call for service, music's too loud, be it an abutting property or something of that nature, then law enforcement's going to come and they're going to do exactly that, turn down the music, right?
correct.
Okay. No citations were issued
No.
as to loud music.
No.
Nothing further.
All right.
At this point, I guess, if you got further arguments you'd like to make.
No, I think,
Mr. Jones, or-
T. Scott
Valiant?
handled just fine.
Well,
All I
at
can
this
do is
point,
mess
I'd
it
turn it
up.
back over to you, Madam Chairman,
Line's
for any
full of
questions
fun.
that the Beer Board may have of Mr. Jones or Lieutenant Walker.
Thank you. Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just kind of a point of order. Does the clerk need the speaker's name and address for the record?
Yes, and we were getting to that. Would you like to go ahead and give your name and address,
Absolutely.
please?
T. Scott Jones, Banks and Jones, 2125 Middlebrook Pike, Knoxville, 37921.
Thank you. And your co-counsel?
John Valiant, 800 South Gay Street, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Lee? Hold on, I do see a light. If I could call on Commissioner Daly before.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sheriff's Department,
Yes,
you found prior that they had violated the Tennessee alcohol beverage, was it like $3,000 worth of fines? We got an email stating that,
they were cited by this gentleman to my left, and if you'd like him to speak of that.
I would like for him to speak
Okay.
of that. Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Special Agent Ramirez with the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Our address is 724 Dutch Valley Drive, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37918. And back in March 24th of 2022, the ABC conducted a routine inspection at the establishment, and we found several violations of sanitary conditions regarding the restaurant. The owner stated that the kitchen has not been open for over 2 months, and there was no food or any raw food material inside the establishment. Also, we issued a violation for sanitary conditions, which was a $600 citation. Also, we requested to conduct a food audit for the restaurant in regards to if they're operating under the correct license, which at that time was a restaurant license. And according to the rules of the TABC, in order to be considered a restaurant, you have to have 51% food sales. Unfortunately, they were only open on the weekends, on Friday and Saturdays, I believe. So they were way under the food cost, the food sales percentage. So we corrected that problem, and we gave a grace period of 14 business days to get their food sales invoices from US Foods. However, it took over a month for us to get that documentation. At that time, we were directed by our legal counsel to issue a citation for failure to cooperate regarding an investigation, which was a $1,500 citation. Once the food audit was conducted, right now they're currently operating under the right license, which is a limited service license, which is a restaurant or establishment that serves more alcohol than they do food. So as of right now, they are in compliance of the ABC rules and regulations, and we have not received any complaints for this year so far.
Have they ever been cited for a violation of selling to underage?
No, sir.
At their-
Not from our end. They have never been cited.
But we have on the sheriff's side?
No, sir, not that I'm
No,
aware
we
of.
have not.
No.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Jones? No question.
I don't think I can do any better than what he just said. No citations issued and obviously in compliance now. So albeit, rewind would be a nice thing to have, but we don't have it. But it appears we're in compliance now. And obviously, we're in agreement with his affirmation that we've never been issued an underage selling. And obviously, we understand. I mean, that's not to be accepted.
Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh, was there another light?
I apologize. I did see yours after the fact. Would you like to speak, Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had just a structural question. So our action was to essentially suspend their beer permit for 60 days. Does that, unless further action is taken, when that 60 days is up, they can resume business as normal? Is that accurate?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Okay. So everything today is to determine are they going back to business or are we taking further action?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just clarification.
Any other lights before Commissioner Lee? Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe they are in compliance, and Mr. Jeff Bagwell came in and said that there wasn't any calls, that Rural Metro did not go out there. So I would make a motion to reinstate their license.
I'm not exactly sure that needs a motion. They were under
Okay.
the 60-day suspension.
Has it expired, the 60 days?
Today,
Okay,
all right.
okay. Then withdraw that motion. I believe the
All
60
right.
days is
Is,
up and their license should be
All right.
good.
Commissioner Daly?
I'll defer to the law director first. Looks like he has something.
I don't think you need a motion. I think the 60-day suspension has run. There have been no further allegations. Of course, that's up to you to decide. And that being the case, the 60 days is over and they're entitled to start selling beer again without a motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm concerned that all this drag racing, spinning, tires, and all that is because of the business. It's not because of Goodwill, Dollar General, Ace Hardware. They're not open at 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the morning. So yes, they are at fault. Even though they're out in the parking lot doing all this noise, loud music and all that stuff, it's because of the business. It's not because of the other businesses that close at 10 o'clock. I'm not in favor, and I'll be voting no. I'm not in favor of reinstating it. Matter of fact, we probably should have done the suspended or revoked the license 60 days ago. It's what we probably should have done. I got a feeling that it's going to come back. It's going to come back, that somebody will be hurt. So I'll be voting no.
Just for clarification, Commissioner Daly, there is no motion on the floor.
Well, correct. Let me say this: if there's a motion to, if there's a motion to not suspend their license again, I'll be voting.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had some questions for the business and I guess their legal representation. What measures have been taken to address the issues that have occurred there in the past? I have to allude, and again, it's just I'm alluding that we haven't seen any citations because of the suspension of their beer permit. So that's a move in the right direction. But if you continue business, what are you doing? What measures have you taken to prevent additional citations, additional law enforcement visits to this establishment? Because I do think it's a concern. I mean, I've read through these reports, and they basically state that this establishment is a danger to the general public. So I'd like to know what the establishment is going to do so that we don't have law enforcement at this establishment and taking away from those resources for other calls in the area.
That's an excellent inquiry, and I appreciate that. What they have done is worked with the personnel that they have. They've also worked with their on-site security to make sure that we don't have these incidents. And also, obviously, you know, when folks are rowdy or something of that nature, dealing with it immediately, quieting it down, addressing those concerns. And, you know, obviously there's some chagrin with regards to the fact that the music got too loud on a couple of occasions. But at least as far as trying to address it on a day-by-day basis, they've been successful. They have been serving alcohol. I mean, because of the fact that they have their ABC license. And that being said, I don't want to compare the intoxicating value of beer to liquor. That being said, I mean, I think we all took basic, science, and so we understand the circumstances associated with it and get just as drunk on one as the other. That being said, that is not acceptable with regards to it. And I know, myself, when I was a youngster, I mean, my God, we all cruised downtown West. That's where everybody went, and there wasn't nothing else open. And, I know I burned a set of few tires there, and I didn't have anything to do with any of the businesses. So whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, I think that's what's going on. I think the business has taken affirmative steps to deal with it, and that they will. And obviously, with Commissioner Daly's statement and obviously your concern relative to it, they understand that if they come back, they got a real problem.
So to your point, the absence of selling beer, really, to your point, I mean, it could go either way. If we continue to suspend the beer permit, they're still providing alcohol. They're still, I see both sides. I mean,
they're legally providing alcohol.
Right.
That being said, I don't want it to be, there's no untoward or under the table sales or anything going on that would be in violation of the law. And we certainly value, our beer permit. We certainly value our beer permit with regards to it. So, I mean, we understand that we have to conform to the constraints placed upon us and expected of us by society, and we intend to continue to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Oster?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the fact that we haven't had any more underage sales, but I agree with Commissioner Daly. I mean, we're just, in my opinion, just waiting to be back here. What I did want to ask was, and I see whether you want to answer or whether security wants to answer, because he actually spoke to us previously. What kind of security measures have been taken specifically inside the establishment that he can control?
I'll let him address that. That being said, I do want to point out we need to swear him because I was over there chatting with him when he did that, so I didn't want him to be seen as testifying unsworn. You want to come up, AJ?
Thank you. Director Boog?
Hello, how y'all doing today?
Sir, will you have not been sworn yet, is that correct?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give to this beer board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
AJ Little, 7002 Maynardville Pike. Yeah, that's what it is, 7002 Maynardville Pike. I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all. I mean, it been quiet. It been real quiet. I mean, I ain't had no complaints since I took over head security. Everybody doing what they supposed to do. No underage drinking. No minors in there. We check IDs. So we really been cooperating and doing what y'all asked us to do for 30 days. And then we came back. Y'all suspended us for 60 more days. So we really doing everything y'all asked us to do. What else would y'all want us to do? I mean, I understand.
I appreciate that, but what I'm asking you is, Is there something specific that you guys have been doing? Have you increased your security numbers?
Yeah,
Have you?
yes.
So give me some specifics so
Yeah,
that
we're-
makes us feel better.
Yeah, we increased the numbers. We got like 10 or 12 security guards in there. Everybody posted at each spot, each exit of the door, each bar. I got like 4 or 5 security guards walking around with flashlights, bands on their hands if you're underage drinking. But we haven't really caught nobody underage drinking. As far as that, everybody nice, cool, just a good atmosphere. Everybody come and have fun and leave. And at the end of the night, we might get 1 or 2 problems, but it don't spill out into a parking lot with no big old fight or nothing.
Okay,
No.
good. I just wanted some specifics on what you guys were doing. I want to also ask Commissioner Lee, have you been getting complaints from people in your district that are around this business?
No, I have not.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. These questions are for our representative from the Alcohol Beverage Control. Is their state license designated as a restaurant that can sell alcohol?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you pull your microphone a little bit closer?
Yes, sir.
So that if they're a restaurant that can sell alcohol, there's no restrictions, say at midnight, if there's babies and strollers or minors in that facility. The state has no problem with that because we've heard testimony in the past that that's occurred at that establishment.
According to the state, all alcohol sales must stop by 3 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. You can have a 5-year-old in there until 3 a.m.
No. It's whatever ordinance the county may have as far as having children inside an establishment. But as far as the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission, minors are allowed inside restaurants, but all sales must stop by 3 in the morning.
Right, okay, okay, thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions or comments? At this point, I don't believe there's any action to take. I think the message has been sent that it would be very good if they never came in front of us again.
Certainly.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I appreciate the commission for allowing the change of order in this very much. We could get back on our regular sequence.
Thank you.
Ms. Daly?
Next one is Lucky Corner,